Hey, good evening, Wixman Ray. I still haven't fixed my or, or hooked up my what do you call it, speaker or microphone. That's what it's called. So hopefully it's loud enough for y'all. I apologize. I still got to figure out how to get that working with this video and whatnot. So, anyways, here we are. It's Tuesday or Wednesday, May 20th, 2026, about 7 p.m. Officially 7:02 p.m., but we'll just call it 7 p.m. Central Time. We got our RGB satellite loop going on. So we got this wave. It looks like a little bit of a low pressure spinning up near the border of Canada and up there in southern Canada, there just north of the border of Montana, and a shortwave trough with some showers pretty much all across Montana, extending into a little bit of part of North Dakota, and it looks like those showers extend down into parts of Idaho, southern Idaho, and up into parts of Wyoming there. I think that's about as far down as it goes. Looks like we got some lower clouds up over northern Nevada there, kind of hidden underneath there. We got a little bit of high clouds spilling over the top out there in the northwest. Also looks like there's some like fog or stratus sitting out there in parts of Washington. We'll have to see if I remember. I'll look up there, see if we can figure that out. Also some high clouds out here across Nevada and parts of California. It doesn't look too significant with that. Then we got another wave here across running from, say, Minnesota and South Dakota, Nebraska, and Colorado. It looks like a few showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms embedded in that. It looks like kind of like maybe one or two of these could be thunderstorms out here, especially out in Colorado area. Um, Looks like another wave down here in New Mexico. Maybe some showers out there, but and that's supporting all this convection or thunderstorms we're seeing from Oklahoma, western Oklahoma, all the way down through Texas into northern Mexico there. So I believe there might be a couple severe thunderstorms in there. I haven't looked recently, but we'll take a look. Also, it looks like maybe there's some of them showers, at least showers, extending up into Kansas here with that wave that's coming out. Actually, it looks like we got a wave back here and then a wave back in Mexico. So there's a couple piece of energy kicking up all this stuff. And then we got another wave kind of supporting this frontal. This is the old frontal boundary that came through. It's still a cold front, but it's weakening. But looks like we have a couple thunderstorms from like New York City area into Philadelphia, New Jersey area down through it looks like Northern Virginia and through Kentucky and West Virginia, and that extends down through the south. Looks like some showers and thunderstorms. Also, some thunderstorms out ahead of it in Alabama and Georgia there. Looks like there was a couple of thunderstorms out in Florida. The sun's starting to set out there. And then we got kind of showers running all the way up towards parts of the northeast here. And this is this whole frontal boundary with the upper level trough supporting it, which runs back through this part of the country here. So that about covers it. So pretty active weather pattern. You see down here underneath parts of Missouri and Kansas, Oklahoma, northern Arkansas. You see this lighter colored cloud underneath this stuff. That's some lower to mid-level cloud that's moved in. We had a sunny day here in Kansas City, but it moved in here a couple hours ago earlier this afternoon. Same idea up here too. You're seeing some lower cloud underneath these, and that's where there's some showers going on too. So we'll take a look at our surface observations. We'll start up in the Pacific Northwest where it's pretty quiet up there. Okay, is it updating? I thought I saw some fog or something up there. I don't know if we have any obs in that area to confirm that, or why is this thing not updating? It's thinking. No, there's some clouds there, so maybe it's just some lower level clouds. Anyways, enough of that. Pretty decent out there. Seattle 66, 69 Portland, and my favorite place, Medford's at 80, because I always mention them. Eugene, I mentioned them because I have an aunt that lives there. They're at 70. So, and then looks like quite a bit of rain shower activity. Maybe a couple thunderstorms embedded in it. I see lightning out there. And what is that station there? Can't read it. It's off the screen. Kalispell Glacier Park, Montana. Yeah, so there's a little bit of thunder embedded in some of this, so that extends down into parts of um, Wyoming and Idaho, although much weaker, so not quite as significant. And then we got them rain showers out into North Dakota, maybe a couple thunderstorms embedded in that. Temperatures are still kind of chilly up here, 40s and 50s. The farther east, though, you get some 60s, even a 70 there in Bismarck, North Dakota. That's what BIS is right there. I know a lot of my identifiers. They're called ICAO, which is ICAO, but anyways, that I know a lot of the identifiers because I've been doing this for years. Looks like some showers and storms across South Dakota, especially the western parts out here near Rapid City and those areas. My obs are just randomly disappearing here and there. And then here's that wave we talked about with this little bit of really light rain extending up into Iowa and Nebraska. Just some real spotty stuff. It's a little more organized in Colorado. Looks like a couple thunderstorms too. We got a thunderstorm. Oh, come on. I thought I zoomed in. My internet's slow or something. Then it looks like some showers and storms. Yeah, that extends up into parts of Kansas. So some stuff in western Oklahoma. Nothing severe though, really. I see some showers, maybe some storms down in New Mexico. This thing does not want to update. There we go. And looks like a severe there down in southwest Texas, way down there, way down south here. Couple of severe storms out there, but really overall not too bad. Then there's some, areas, some other areas of rain and thunderstorms, and then that extends down into Mexico there if you live down there and you're watching this. It looks like we got some activity just offshore of Louisiana and south of Beaumont, Texas there. Well, quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity across southern parts of Louisiana and to southern Mississippi. That extends all the way into Mississippi. Got some thunderstorms, nothing severe though. Showers and storms. You got a few of those scattered storms out into Georgia and Alabama. And yeah, this is along the front here. So we've got some storms running through Tennessee, up into Kentucky. Looks like more just rain as you get into southern Illinois and southern Indiana. Maybe a little bit of thunder down here. And then we got one severe warning out there in West Virginia. That's what near Buchanan, Elkins Airport. So out there in that part of West Virginia. Looks like some showers and storms across northern Virginia. Nothing severe. I think they do have a little bit of a risk of severe out there for today, so that makes sense. Looks like some thunderstorms rolling through New York City and Long Island area, up into parts of New Jersey and Connecticut, even downstate New York. This part of New York, I think, is what they call downstate, where New York City is, and maybe some of these cities. Upstate's up here. So. Yeah, when I was in Syracuse, I think they actually called it Central New York, but this is all considered upstate. Yeah, up in the Northeast, pretty quiet, no storms. Like we were saying yesterday, all that moved away. But yeah, look at that, pretty nice weather, 70s out there. Caribou's our lone 59er out there. A little bit cooler back here as the front's gone through, 57. So Syracuse had what, at least 2 days of 80-degree weather, and now it's down to 57. So they're back into, the freezer. Not really the freezer, but colder air. So if you like warm air in Syracuse, it's gone at least for a day or two. Maybe it'll come back. I don't think this week though. Like I mentioned, it looked like through Friday. We'll go through the weekend and we'll talk more about that. We'll see how long we make this video if I start talking about that. Yeah, and then I didn't cover Florida. Yeah, we got a few storms. It's pretty numerous from near Tampa down towards Fort Myers. So pretty intense thunderstorms. Nothing severe though through that part of Florida, and that's about it. The middle part of the country, I didn't say too much. Yeah, 50, 60s to 59 in Springfield. So still cool, but decent weather here. It's clouded up, like I said, in Kansas City, but we had a sunny morning, really nice day. Um, but looks like it's going to be unsettled for the rest, at least till Friday, maybe through the weekend. Looks like it's pretty nice up here, Wisconsin, Minnesota, in the 50s and 60s. Mainly 50s. I see Fargo 65, but 59 in Minneapolis, almost 60 there. But yeah, it looks pretty clear for the most part. Yeah, so I think we've covered most of the United States now. Oh, I didn't. I probably didn't mention the Southwest down here. I didn't really say much. I did quickly glaze over New Mexico, a few showers and storms. It's in the 80s out there, a little bit cooler on the eastern side where they've got that cold front. In the 60s there, 67 in Tucumcari, 93 in Phoenix, and 85 in Vegas. So it's starting to warm up a little bit in both those locations. I think Vegas was what, upper 70s to around 80 the last 2 days, so they're coming up. Elko's at 70. They got a few showers out there to the northeast of them. Really light. It may not even be hitting the ground. Maybe it's sprinkling here and there. 70 in Salt Lake. Beautiful weather out there. Looks like it's in the 90s, 90 at Sacramento, and some 80s here and there in the Central Valley. So getting pretty hot out there in California. 73 at LAX and 67 in San Francisco, and not too bad. That's where you want to be, is along the coast where it's cooler, because it's starting to get hot in the valleys there up around 90. So although it's a dry heat, right? So anyways, that's it for the surface observation. We're going to go ahead and cover this again. We're going to do our 500 millibar vorticity and height chart here. This tells us where areas of low pressure and high pressure are, and where you might see unsettled weather and fronts and those kind of things. So you can see this is like basically about right now. There's a lot going on here, right? Especially out here, man. Look at all that. And we talked about several waves. Um, so this is the wave we were talking about, going that's supporting the front. That's out from up across the northeast down through the Ohio Valley and down through the deep south into Louisiana here, and then those waves we saw kicking off those storms in Texas, even back into northern Mexico. We got that energy across Colorado and New Mexico with those showers, and then all this stuff with the showers that were up here. So this yellow and oranges and reds, that's what we call vorticity. That causes like spin in the atmosphere, which can cause some upward motion, which creates clouds and many times precipitation, but not always. Sometimes if it's super dry or if you don't have enough moisture, you'll just have clouds and no rain, or sometimes you'll just have virga and it won't be reaching the ground, like what you see out west quite a bit. Although that does happen out east occasionally, not as often as the west. So then we got some energy here back across this part of the country, but there's really not much going on with it. It's pretty dry out here, but just a general trough of low pressure all across the west. We kind of have the ridge is kind of across the southeastern U.S. here, and that's what's kind of keeping that front from moving very far to the south and east. It's kind of hung up in the same areas, just slowly meandering around down through here, and that's going to kind of be the case over the next, at least through Friday, from what I remember. Looks like a little low pressure offshore. I don't know if that's anything to watch for tropical development. Probably not, but since it's an upper level system. But yeah, so there's a little bit of a ridge, a high pressure. You can kind of see it here, and it extends back into parts of the southeast here. So yeah, so very active weather pattern. Um, for May 21st. All right, so we'll just kind of scroll through this quickly. So we'll see. So this is by tomorrow afternoon. So this waves out here in the we saw kicking off this stuff out in the central and northern plains. That's going to kind of move up into the Great Lakes and kind of weaken as it's kind of coming over this real broad. This is a real broad ridge out here, so it weakens. But you'll probably see some showery activity up here across Michigan and or not, maybe a little bit back into Minnesota. You see a little vorticity in northern Wisconsin. So in this general area across the Great Lakes, but for the most part, it's weakening. Here's what's you can see. This is what's part of that front. As you can see, it's not really moved a whole lot. It does move a little bit to the east, and that's because you get these waves in Texas, and that's kind of slowly eroding at this ridge down here. So the front will kind of lay from near the mid-Atlantic through North New Jersey, even near Long Island. So, they may still see some showers around New York City again tomorrow and Philadelphia. And that goes down through the southeast. And then we see these waves. So it's going to be pretty numerous thunderstorms across this area. I think there's a little bit of a threat of severe, but I think it's up in here for tomorrow. And that's with this system coming out of the Rockies. We got a little bit of energy out ahead of it coming into Nebraska and Kansas, eastern Colorado. So I think they had a little small area of severe somewhere out here. I think it was mostly in eastern Colorado. We'll take a look. And then there's still that energy across the southwest. There probably will be showers across New Mexico, probably not so much across out here. Yeah, and then we see a couple of weak waves. This may bring a few showers to the Pacific Northwest, but it doesn't look real strong, so it probably won't amount to a whole lot, maybe just a few showers. But yeah, here's where all the activity is going to be, is with these two main systems and then along this old frontal boundary. So that's for tomorrow. Let's zoom right through into Friday afternoon, evening time frame. So all that stuff that was down in Texas now moves out into the Midwest and parts of the South here. And so from Illinois, the eastern half of Missouri through Arkansas, through all the South down here and through the Ohio Valley. And it looks like that front kind of reorients. See how that goes on Friday? It's starting to move north, so it looks like we have kind of a warm front probably. So that front will reorient up through the Pennsylvania and New Jersey and maybe northern Virginia or West Virginia and back through here through the Ohio Valley area. So it'll be pretty wet out here, and then we'll have a few storms and showers down here across the southeast. Here's that one that came out of the Rockies, so we're going to probably see some activity out here across the northern plains from Nebraska, Iowa, and up into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So probably rain and maybe some thunderstorms. Still got a couple waves across the west, so we're going to see showery activity with some thunderstorms embedded in that. It's kind of the same idea. So you just got these aren't as strong as this system and this system that came out, but there's still going to be little waves, so it's kind of a complicated forecast. Looks like there's a little wave out here in West Texas, and they're still painting like a severe area, a small area out here. I think we'll look at the surface. I think there was some good backing winds coming from the east, so some good shear. But yeah, you got a little short wave coming out into West Texas there that'll support that activity. So yeah, so real complicated. You still got a little bit of a ridge back in through here, but still going to see that activity along the front since that ridge is so weak. So, and this is kind of just induced in between these two low pressures. This one way out in Canada, and this one coming in across the northern plains. So that's for Friday. As we go through Saturday, so you see this next piece of energy coming out of the west here on Saturday afternoon, evening. So it looks like another round of showers and storms. I don't know if this will be a front forming out here across the plains here. So that might be something to watch for severe as we go into Saturday here. It looks like more energy across Texas, so it looks like that's going to be kind of a mess of showers and thunderstorms, a lot of energy. Another little wave here, this wave here, so you'll see showers and storms here and some stuff back here through this part of the country from, parts of the mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley, and it looks like that front almost like tilts upwards, along here. So there might be some activity across New York and spreading offshore. So, but yeah, so just a real crazy forecast. It looks like a little bit of a ridge tries to develop out west. So it might warm up a little bit, but there's still some, you see these speckles of vorticity, so there'll be some showers. Nothing super organized or anything, but we'll have to watch that. So that's for Saturday. So as we get through Sunday, yeah, that ridge kind of stays flattened. And what you see is under these weak ridges with all the heat, you'll see some popcorn showers and thunderstorms. That's what you're seeing across these four corner states. Still some energy up here with showers. Looks like another system's trying to come into the northwest. May not be quite bringing them rain. Maybe some clouds. It may skirt to the north of them, the rain. We'll have to see. Looks like a couple more waves coming. This wave moves into the Great Lakes that was across the plains for Sunday evening. So showers and storms up through this area, even down through Indiana and Ohio. Looks like this energy in Texas moves out into parts of the south and the Ohio Valley with some thunderstorms. And then it looks like a low pressure actually forms, and it's going to kind of cut off there and spin there for a couple days. So that'll be something that'll make a complicated forecast. That'll bring a lot of rain, I think, too, for parts of Texas, maybe even to Louisiana. Sometimes when you see these across the south in the springtime, you got to watch for flooding. So I don't know what that's going to do, but that could be something to be concerned about maybe if it gets stuck down there for a couple days, because you'll get showers and storms every day over the same area, and they'll just rain themselves out and cause a lot of rain. But so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Otherwise, I mean, the jet looks like it's running up north, so that's going to cause a little bit of a warm up for at least from, I'd say, Nebraska. See where I'm drawing my cursor from, like the mid-Atlantic through the Central Plains and the central part of the West, I guess we'll call it. That's where it's going to see warming temperatures, I think, for the most part. So it'll be cooler underneath this rain in Texas, but with the jet kind of reorienting this weekend over the north, that'll and even this, yeah, we'll see that that cooler air kind of, it'll start slowly warming up through parts of the U.S. I think the northern fringe across up here, the northern plains through the northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest, Great Lake and Northeast may stay a bit cooler. Although the Northeast may warm up because they got that little ridge, so at least through the Great Lakes. So. Anyways, yeah, I'm jabbering on about that, but I'm gonna have to go through this really quick. That kind of got long-winded. Whenever I go through that, it takes a little bit of time because it's so complicated looking at those charts. So, um, what's going on? Why isn't this updating? Okay, I'm having internet issues. It's being slow. Sorry, guys. If this keeps causing me troubles, we'll move on. So this is basically what's going on now. So I'm going to skip right through that. So for tomorrow, so this is where the front's going to be tomorrow from the mid-Atlantic. You see where the showers and rain is extending through the south. So same general area, maybe slightly tilted down here to the east a little bit. It gets a little more active across Texas tomorrow, up into Kansas, Nebraska, and even up into parts of Missouri and Oklahoma, and even parts of Arkansas. This is that next wave coming out. Looks like maybe some snow out in parts of Wyoming too, maybe northern Colorado. So that's for tomorrow. as we go through Friday, you see it looks like we get a low pressure forming out there in the plains, the northern plains. So yeah, showers and thunderstorms out here. I mean, I guess you can't rule out one or two severe, but um, with the moisture kind of, the high dew points will be down here because of this system. So it probably won't happen, but you never know. And then here's that little small complex that forms out there in Oklahoma and Texas here, West Texas, Western Oklahoma. So that could be severe. Still got some activity across the Rockies with those little waves that were I showed you, those weaker waves. Here's what's left of the front. You can kind of see it's lifting up through there, and then it just gets real active with showers and storms all through there. So very wet across the south and up through the mid-Atlantic. So as we go through Saturday, yeah, you can see this system, a little low forms along that wave, and it looks like we have a warm front extending across parts of the, New York, Pennsylvania, and down through New Jersey. So it's going to be wet and rainy. That area around New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia is probably not going to. They're going to see rain for the next couple days, and that extends south. Showers and thunderstorms all across the south into Texas, and these waves across the across this area. So yeah, so yeah, and that expands as we go into the evening. So Oklahoma, so all through the central and southern plains, pretty wet. So as we go into Sunday here, so you see that, yeah, kind of the same idea. It's going to be really wet across this part of the country. This whole thing is lifting to the northeast, so the northeast will get wet as we go into Sunday. Yeah, mainly into Sunday, and that's about it. That we won't go any farther than that, but so I mean, like from what I mentioned, I don't see any real organized areas. Yeah, today they had these slight risk out here in the mid-Atlantic, or extending up into this area. Yeah, I saw one severe warning, so yeah, that's good. Then down here is good, I think. So that'll be for the rest of tonight out in those areas. For tomorrow, they got that small area out here in the high plains, western Nebraska into eastern Colorado, maybe a little bit into western Kansas, clipping Oklahoma, but so looks like the tornado threats, a little bit of a tornado wind. That's all they're saying about that. So nothing too crazy, but something to keep an eye on for. That's for that's for Thursday, and then for Friday, it's the same area, West Texas and Western Oklahoma. Um, so that'll probably be the best bet for the week, albeit a small area and nothing widespread by any stretch of the imagination. They didn't have anything beyond that. Like I said, with them waves coming out of the Rockies, or maybe they'll throw in a marginal area or here and there. We'll see how it pans out, but that's really all I've got for you. I will show you what the temperature is going to do quickly here, just to kind of not lie to you about what the temperatures we're going to do. So so this is the temperatures for Thursday. As you can see, it's staying pretty cool all across this part of the U.S. Still starting to warm up across the west or southwest, and at least California and Nevada, a little bit into the northwest, and the southeast stays warm. This is for Friday. Just ignore this because this is the ending Friday. Still the same idea. It starts to warm up more in Texas. A little bit warming out here, but it's still cool all across this part of the country through Friday. And as you go into Saturday, so yeah, you start to see it slowly start to warm up here a little bit, another 5 to 8 degrees or so. Still kind of cool back here because that's where that rain was moving up into there on a Saturday. But yeah, it's a general warming trend as you go in through the weekend, and that's for Sunday. Yeah, see, just a whole warming trend, except for up here, and that's because they kind of had that rain kind of moving up through them over the weekend. But yeah, so that warming trend, like I said, that's going to be pretty much the idea for as we go through the weekend. So that's all I've got for you. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to wind this down hopefully before 30 minutes. I got 5 seconds. I'm jabbering too much. All right. I appreciate y'all. Wixmanry out.